What's up, guys? Today I wanted to take a look at the Takeda trailer for MK1. Now, I will say the trailer looks awesome. The gameplay specifically looks awesome. He seems to be the most fluid character in the game thus far. One thing I was a big fan of when it came to MK1 was the animations. It just seemed stiff, especially coming from MK11. But seeing his animations, it looks great. It's almost like he's got a little Spider-Man thing, web strike, hitting people and things like that. But someone hit me up and asked me to look at the trailer because there was a section of the trailer that looked off to them. They didn't know what it was, but it felt like to them that Takeda had no power when doing the whip. So I looked at the trailer and I will say that they were right. There's a section in the trailer after, they collide and everything, that he jumps up and, does the whip against Shao Kahn. Now, I scrubbed through it because I was like, what is going on here? There seems to be almost no to little anticipation for the jump. So it seems that he just pops up in the air. And then, one of the fatal newbie flaws of animation when starting out is twinning. There's not a breaking of the joints, there's no overlap, there's no drag, and it seems that the animator just rotated the cog controller. That's what it seems, because he's literally just spinning around like this. Now, obviously, you would want some, lead and follow. You would want, since he's moving, right, he's generating force and torque with this upper, you would want that to then, bam, to go in, to lead into the whip, to get that power. And there's no change. Another newbie aspect is no contrast, right? There's usually, you have what, S and C curves. It's typically what you're taught in animation. There's nothing. He just turns around and then whips him. And that's why there was no force. It felt like as if it was a weak hit. So one thing, especially in game animation, that there's not a lot of is an anticipation. But how they make up for that is the follow through, that after you hit the person, there's that overlap and follow through leading into possibly the next attack if the character, if the player hits the button. But in this, there's no anticipation for the jump, which makes the jump feel weak. Then there's no, lead and follow overlap of the twist for him to do the whip, which makes the whip feel extremely weak and out of place with it just sticks out. Even if you're not an animator, you're just seeing something's off just as the person notified me. Now, I'm breaking it down from an animator's perspective, why it feels off. And I think this is something you should look at, whether it's a professional, animation like this, or in some of your own work. Of viewing, just have a checklist. I always have a checklist alongside me, especially going into to spline or even in blocking, just to make sure that, okay, contrast, right? Lead, follow, overlap. Just thinking about this, even in blocking, you have to be thinking about this, because if you get into spline and you don't know how you want the character to move, and you just have a bunch of great poses, you're gonna have a bad time. So I just wanted to point that out. I thought that was interesting. I don't know how it was left in there. I really don't know, because it seems as they try to cover up with like a camera shake, and that's a big no-no, okay? It's a big no-no. People, animators can't do it when, crunch time and stuff like that, where you add like a motion blur and, a camera shake, and it can, it can gloss over, we'll say, a poor animation in many cases. In this case, it doesn't look very good. However, the gameplay does make up for it. I think the fatality at the end of it is just uninspiring. I don't know. I feel like in MK1, they just didn't want to make MK1. That's what I feel about the game and overall in general. It just feels like their heart and soul wasn't into it, especially apparently after the traumatization that took place with MK11 of, trying to look up reference for all the brutalities and fatalities. They toned it down very much, and it just lacks the creativity, especially in this, Takeda's, fatality. It's just like, I don't know. It just wasn't there for me. But that's the video. I just wanted to cover that and address that concern. But if you happen to enjoy the video, please feel free to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, guys, keep animating.